So, in a previous video, I mentioned I'm a kind of glasses half full kind of guy. And somebody posted that they were a glasses half empty kind of person and they didn't like that about themselves. What made somebody, how could you be a glasses half full kind of person? And I thought, actually, that's a really interesting question. Now, quite a lot of the time, of course, what we're really concerned about and what motivates a lot of things is the desire to control something, to control outcomes. And I've said this before, but the world is divided into two things. Things you can control and things you can't control. Me, I tend not to worry about what I can't control. But if you look at it, it works out that the only thing you can control about something is how you feel about it. So it's mostly to do with how you view things, really. It's just about control and how you view things and what it is that you can control. Now, you find a lot of glasses half empty kind of people tend to focus on problems. You give them something and they'll just see the issues involved. Most of them stop at the issues, and of course then they never do anything, because when you hit a problem you think can't be resolved, you think, oh well, I'm not going to even try that, and so you just don't do. The best of them come up with problems and a few solutions, and maybe they'll work through a solution or two. And that tends to be the glasses half empty kind of people. But of course, if you focus on the problems of things without actually doing anything, but just looking at what problems might arise, there are just a million problems with anything. Absolutely anything is going to have problems. But the really curious thing is, hardly any of those problems ever happened. I mean, let's take a knife. A knife is a sharp and dangerous implement, and yet we use it all of the time. 3 times a day when you cook your dinner, you slice your vegetables, you chop your potatoes, you cut your meat, whatever it is, you're in close contact with a sharp bit of metal and you're slicing away with it. It's a dangerous situation. And yet, out of the million times you will use that knife, 999,999 times, nothing will happen. But you still can't deny that something might happen, and that's the way it is with glasses half empty people. You can't deny something might happen. But in reality, of course, it never does. Now, every now and then you might get a little nick. I mean, I'm always nicking my hands, actually, because I'm always working with tools and sharp materials, and every now and then I'll get a little nick, and it'll bleed a little bit. I barely even notice it most of the time, and it'll sting for a day or two, and that's your lot. So, out of the problems when the problems do arise, 99.99% of them are trivial, that are never this dangerous thing that's going to happen. Now, we made a rotor out of a tumble dryer. For that, I sliced up some metal and bent it by hand. Then somebody posted how dangerous that was, and I thought, well, I'm not recommending you lick the sharp edges. I'm not recommending you rub your neck up and down on those blades. That's not what I'm saying. I think grab hold of it the same way you would grab hold of a knife, be firm and give it a twist. And of course, nothing happens. But you can worry about the stuff that might happen all day long, because of course lots of things might happen. The might happen is as big as your imagination. Now, people who are glasses half empty wrap that all up with probability, with the sense of it's likely to happen. It hardly ever is. And when it does happen, it's never really as important. But what gives faith to that kind of view is that every now and then something does happen that is horrendous. And you can't ignore that, it is horrendous. But if you focus on that, you will find you have a very bleak view, and you become a glasses half empty. Now, I'm not saying ignore that. That has a high likelihood of happening at some time or other in somebody's life somewhere on the world. I mean, there are 7 billion of us. Everything's going to happen to somebody, but the likelihood of it actually is tiny for it happening to you. And if you focus on that, it'll just give you a bleak view. I tend to focus on problems when a problem arises. So these VAWT design wind turbines we've been making. Now, I don't know if it's true, but they're supposed to be self-limiting. That is, they're supposed to spin at a certain speed, and after they get to that speed, they can't spin any faster because of their makeup. Now, I need to test that, obviously. But there's been a lot of discussion about putting brakes on the thing or it'll fly away. We don't even know if it will fly away. We know that a bladed turbine needs brakes because it will fly away. Yet we don't know about this VAWT. It's supposed to be self-limiting, so it probably won't. But we don't know. We have to test it. But a glass is half empty kind of person leaps on the possibility of it might fly away and break up, and they talk about brakes, and they talk about this, and they talk about that, and how you're wasting your time. And they've never tested it. I've never tested it. So I don't actually know. And the chances are it probably won't. I mean, if it does, they'll be over the moon, because they'll be able to say, see, told you. But the chances are it won't. Because they're mostly built around the sort of form factor of those whirly things you see on the roofs. And of course they go in any condition. They don't have brakes on them. They're in trouble if the wind rips them off your roof, but then brakes are not going to help you if the wind is going to rip your roof off. So it really doesn't matter, to be honest. So a lot of the time you need to actually deal with the thing in front of you. Have a bit more of a positive view about things and realise all you can control is what you see about stuff anyway. Focus on solutions, not problems. Deal with things that arise rather than thinking about things which might happen. I mean, of course, we love to think about things that might happen because it gives us a sense of control. But everything under the sun might happen. Most things don't. Or when they do, they're trivial. Anyway, I thought I would share those thoughts with you because it really struck me when I was reading the chap's post. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching.